The people at IDRG see the world as one and support people, companies, and governments worldwide in developing trust in each other through cooperation at eye level. We believe that most likely this is the only way to save climate, people, and nature. At IDRG, our strongest ability is the socialization to what we call self-diversity. We were trained by the Swiss government and have trained many other people in a variety of countries over the past 30 years. Trust always starts within ourselves. People who develop self-diversity develop an inner structure rather than depending on an outer structure. They have the advantage that they will take their structure with them everywhere they go. For this ability, science uses the term cross-culture, but we have decided to see a bigger picture beyond the limits of just culture and therefore use the term self-diversity, which is a direct translation from the German term EIGENVIELFALT. Let me show you what we mean. Our socio-psychological abilities are stored in our brain. In this shape, the gray spheres stand for all the socio-psychological skills and potentials that we are born with because they were genetically transferred to every human being, no matter where we were born. Scientists have discovered this when they compared the behavior of humans and primates and of humans from different parts of the world before they ever met. In addition to what we are born with, we add new skills and develop new potentials by processing the experiences we make. The process starts while we are still in our mother and only ends when we die. We perceive our environment through our 7 senses and store the experiences in our brain. In the globalized society of today, these experiences are very diverse. The big difference between people is how they process their experiences. People are raised to become either monocultural, multicultural, or cross-cultural, which we refer to as self-diverse. The good news is that we can move from mono and multi to cross or self at any time in our life. Monoculturally socialized people have a difficult childhood. Their experiences are as colorful as those of other people, but they face a strict environment that sanctions many of their behaviors as being not acceptable. The results are insecurity, sense of being rejected, lack of self-confidence, and lack of trust in others. The white spots that appear where the tender trials of self-structuring have taken place can be compared to scar tissue in our skin that no longer has the elasticity and healing capacity of normal skin. In people with post-traumatic stress disorder, such scars in the brain tissue have been made visible. We should therefore not be surprised when people with monocultural socialization react to change with fear and aggression, especially when such change originates from other people. Multiculturally socialized people typically lack the support they would need to structure their own personality. This skill is not born, but has to be learned. People who are raised multiculturally experience less constraints than monocultural people, but are mostly being left alone with the task to process their experiences. They are not supported in building their own inner structure, but are only encouraged to be consistently open and tolerant. This form of socialization quickly reaches its limits because humans have a natural need for structure. Without that structure, our tolerance is very limited and will lead to self-harm or aggressive self-defense. In the struggle between the request for tolerance and the lack of inner structure, people live in a state of excitement that prevents the development of social cohesion, social responsibility, and psychological skills. When parents or teachers fail to support children in the development of a personal inner structure, they typically do so because they do not know better. If we want to change that, we need to provide parents and teachers with the training that they need to pass it on to their children and students. Very different is the socialization or training of self-diversity. Instead of encountering mainly severe strictness or neglect and helplessness, children who are raised to become self-diverse receive all possible support to reflect on their experiences. They choose how they want to feel about them, where they want to place them in the mosaic of skills they were born with and skills that they develop. Even very little children can deal with the question of how they feel about an experience, if it makes them feel good or uncomfortable. It helps them to understand that they have a personal choice that is accepted and respected. Later on, they will learn to assume responsibility for their choices, to stand up for the mosaic they develop, and ask for their mosaic to be respected. Over time, this continued alternation of experience, reflection, choice, and tryout leads to a personal mosaic not only of cultural specificities, but of physical, mental, and emotional characteristics as well. During a lifetime, this mosaic becomes more and more complex and very stable while remaining flexible. When life hits a hole into such a mosaic, the remainder of the structure will allow the person to fix this hole. Instead of developing post-traumatic stress disorder, the person has a chance to further evolve his mosaic. Equipped with the behaviors and potentials that humans are born with, socialization and globalization offers us a level of freedom that we have never had before. We can interact with people from around the world. We can learn and copy new behaviors. We can try them out and use them in situations when and where we feel they might be a good fit. By reflecting about new experiences and about the reactions of others to our new behavior, and by developing creative ideas about human interactions, we develop patterns that during a lifetime gradually grow into a personal mosaic that becomes more, over time, becomes increasingly complex. Our inner structure enables us to openly engage with life situations that we would otherwise want to avoid. You can find out more about our work on our website. If you want to talk with us, you can reach us via email.